But they did, and the match was a good one.
Apart from the fact that I'm half Punjabi, my biological mother was also a Sikh. So the odds of all that linking up are just, I don't know, 1,000,000,000 to 1, because there aren't exactly many Western authorities on the subject. So for me, it was something that just was meant to be. I don't ever remember not knowing I was adopted, but I do remember one day in Missouri in India pushing a pram with my friend who was American, and she happened to have very, very fair skin. My hands were here, hers were here, and I remember looking at the hands, and I remember going inside and having a look at my family. I remember looking at Mum first, at her hands, and then looking at my brothers, and then Dad. And I thought, I'm different from the whole lot. But I always knew I was part of the family.
PhD in hand, Hew took his family back to India for another 4 years in the Punjab, this time teaching in Punjabi at a university college and gathering steam as an historian of the Sikhs. In 1968, his original study of Guru Nanak was published, controversially questioning the historical facts contained in the early writings about the Guru's life. Believed to have worked miracles in Baghdad, did he really even travel there? Did he make it as far as Rome? The conclusions he reached shot straight to the heart of the Sikh tradition, destroying what he called myths and outraging conservative Sikhs from day one.
The traditional Sikh view is that it's all true, the Janam Sakhis. But my point of view is they're not true. Having been through the various Janam Sakhis, I come down to the need to extract from them everything that can be affirmed concerning Guru Nanak. It comes to less than 1 page. Now, that's all that's possible. Where he was born, who his parents were, who his sister was, all this is clear enough. But there isn't much more.
No Westerner in modern times had so closely examined the original sources, also rigorously questioned long-accepted interpretations of how the Sikh religion came to be or what it stood for. Not surprisingly, Hew's literal interpretation was unacceptable to many Sikhs.
If we are to believe this about Guru Nanak, then we cannot believe anything about the Romans or the Greeks that has been written so far, because they are not, many of them are not contemporary records. Any hagiography that he rejects out of hand has an element of truth at the basis of it. Even a mythological story usually has a basis, some factual information on which the whole story is spun around. So if you are going to dismiss everything, that's not going to really leave much for historians.
But for Hew, history and theology were not to be confused.
If you want to believe in them, that's all right as far as you're concerned, but they're not true. And if you believe they're not true, you must say so. Some believing Sikhs accept that as a sensible sort of belief. Others, of course, they don't at all. You've got to believe the Janam Sakhis, or you're hell to pay.
Hew's groundbreaking work launched his international career as an historian, that second stay in Punjab dramatically changing the course of his and his family's life.
Those 4 years were the most critical 4 years of our whole life.
Probably were.
Yes,
yeah.
Because we settled once and for all on what the future was going to be for us.
That future was a return to Dunedin to take up a position teaching history at the University of Otago. By 1971, they'd left the Punjab, but that wasn't the only thing they'd left behind.
The awareness that we were out of touch with what the church really was only became evident when we both began talking about it, both of us.
Our Damascus Road in reverse, oh dear. I think we'd both moved towards it without realising it, that we both had. But it was good that we both had, because it could have been a very difficult marriage if one had and the other hadn't.
And both of us had concealed from the other how we were feeling, because we were anxious not to upset the other one.
It just didn't make sense anymore among all those other religions, and the fact that some fundamentalist missionaries felt that Hindus were damned. It didn't make sense, and it gave us a great sense of freedom and exhilaration when we finally faced up to that.
No small step for a missionary at that time still being employed by the church.
We caused a certain amount of offence for other, particularly Americans, but we went our way, and our way was clearly that of the unbeliever. And
that was quite a big step. I've since found out also as an adult, when they gave me all my adoption papers and everything just to have a look at, and for safekeeping. When they adopted me, they had to sign a contract to say that I would be brought up in the Christian faith, or pretty much give her back. And so Dad had to write a letter saying that they had changed their views or had questions, which could have meant that they said, well, give us the baby back. But they didn't, thank goodness. So that was massive, absolutely massive.